But it's just this, right?
Yeah.
It's not somewhere else. There's nothing needs to happen. It's nothing that needs to be found. It's already this. So it's not somewhere else that needs to be brought about. There's nothing that needs to happen.
What is already this?
What's looked for? This. What is? This is it. This. Exactly as it is. That's what the separate sense can't get, because it always needs something else. But exactly, even the sense that this isn't it, is it. This is it. Exactly as it is.
See, it's a flatliner, isn't it? Sometimes
it's a total flatliner. I thought that when I said it, I thought, well, that's a conversation killer.
So confronting to someone to hear that this is it, that this is what they're looking for. They hate it above all things.
Yeah.
To hear that this is actually it. It's actually just simply this, and there's a huge disappointment in that for the person, because you're living in a hopeful energy of something to come around the corner, something better around the corner. So to hear that it's just this, I mean, that's pretty shit, really.
Well, it is when you hear about everything. When you hear about enlightenment and chakras and all that magic.
It's very misleading. All of that's very spirituality is very misleading. It is what it is as well. I'm not saying it's bad or good. It just is what it is. But it's obviously another thing for the person to do, and another way to feed the person.
Yeah.
Is to be a spiritual self, or to be,
But of course, the other thing about it is there is no such thing as enlightenment or liberation, or seeking or separation. They're simply appearances. They have no validity at all of any kind. That's the other thing that this does. It destroys any idea that there's anything important or significant, or that has meaning or purpose. It completely destroys that whole life. What you're left with is, what you're left with is nothing. If you come to a meeting here and there's a real openness thought, you're left with nothing. Yeah. It's so lovely. It's gorgeous.
Isn't it? You are already all it is. You are already what you're seeking. But it's been overlaid by this contracted sense of me, through which everything is then seen. So therefore life isn't seen as it really is. And that just plays out as it plays out. I mean, there can be no agenda then for it to be seen anywhere, because there's nobody in there to see it. So when it's communicated and someone says, well, I don't believe a word of this actually, and I've been doing meditation for years and I'm going to continue doing meditation, I think you're completely misguided and ignorant or whatever, then that's what's happening. There's no agenda for it. That's just life playing the game. That's just life saying, I think you're misguided, and I think that's what's happening.
Unconditional love, well, in one sense it's everything. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's just everything. The appearance, the whole story, anything that ever has happened, everything that could or would happen is unconditional love, because everything that's apparently happening is what is seeming to happen. And what is unconditional love. And when it's recognized that what is unconditional love, and that what is everything, it's also recognized that anything that happens, that's saying anything that this does, says, anything and everything is that love. And that's amazing release or relief, to recognize that nothing could ever be wrong. Nothing could ever be out of place.
How can there be a way to that which already is? This is actually what people search for. This, what is. So there isn't a way to what is, there just is what is. Yeah. It's not something that can be found or got, it already is. The only thing that's in the way of it is that which believes it isn't, which is the seeker. The seeker thinks it's somewhere else. After I've meditated, after I've self-inquired for 3 years, then I'll find it. No, you're sitting on it, you're breathing it, it is this. Yeah. That's amazing. There's no search, how can there be a path? How can there be approach to that which already is? It's ridiculous.
because me thinks that, okay, this may be wholeness, but still something has to happen with me or for me. Like, oh, okay, this is wholeness, but now I have to get it. That this is wholeness. That's the dream. It just already is wholeness. Or the unknown, or actually there is no real word for this.
This is the most dangerous thing for the individual.
Yeah. So when you speak, it sounds like something is known there, different than from me. Seems like there's a different perspective on what's happening.
Yeah, and it's interesting because it's exactly the opposite. There's something known there which covers up the reality that there's nothing happening. When there's nothing known, there's nothing happening. See, you told the story before about you coming and all the rest of the things that happened to you. That's what you know.
Yeah.
Without that, there's nothing happening.
Incomprehensible like that,
Yeah,
isn't it?
well, it would have to be. Because it was comprehensible, it would be in a duality. It would be knowing and known. Knower, known.
It is mental, like, it is mental, it is mental, you know.
Yeah. You see, from this perception, when it kind of appears to happen, I can see how it could be perceived as being mental, but it's not mental at all. I mean, in actuality, the sense of being a person is the insane thing.
Yeah.
It's complete insanity. We're all running around thinking we're in control and we have control over our lives. Where's your life? Where do you have it, like?
It's really the one place you'd never look.
I've heard that before. Say that. See.
It's just the one place you'd never look. It's completely unexpected.
Because you can't look there though.
Exactly.
You fucker!
I didn't make it up.
Don't shoot the messenger!
Exactly.
Oh yeah. Wow.
This is pure anarchy. It doesn't recognise any sort of authority at all, or hierarchy. There's no hierarchy, there's no authority, because all there is this.
That's the reason it's unbelievable, because it's just completely unexpected. It's not logical.
No.
It's not sensical. It's not rational. It's actually illogical, nonsensical.
Nobody knows there's oneness, nobody knows anything. It's the end of that which knows and thinks it's aware. It's the end of awareness.
The individual lives in a loop, a closed loop of knowing. So really what knowing the world is actually a closed loop of just knowing yourself. That's what it is really about. And all knowing is contextual and an abstraction really of what is, you know, of the whole, you could say, you know. So it's again, the individual will, the apparent person will try to know, how can I know that it's about unknowing?
Yeah.
How can I know that? How can I own that? Because that's the energy of being a person. Gathered in, I want to know this, I want to have this, I want to. So in that sense, it's a very frustrating message.
I think the thing that in a way is difficult. You can never say it, but in a way it's at the foundation of all this is that what people are looking for is not some spiritual orgasm or anything special or light sort of. It's actually about something totally ordinary, like sitting on a seat or walking out of the room or breathing. It's about something that's completely ordinary and constantly happening. So I'm always saying to people, what you long for is constantly happening to you. Right now, it's happening to you. What you long for is happening to you, like an ache in the arm or feeling warm or having a thought. That's the beloved. That's what you long for. But you can't have it. It's just happening. And your difficulty as a me or a self is that the awareness you think you have keeps everything away. Like people sit on a chair and they're aware of sitting on a chair, and that creates a separation. I am a person in here that's aware of something else called sitting on a chair. That's how people remain apart. That's the dilemma.
That's the flat line.
That's the flat line there. Yeah. It is. And there's nothing to say about it. And you know, people will say, well, what are you left with if there's no awareness? And nobody can tell you that. I can't tell you that. It's unknowable. It is the unknowable, isness. But it's everything. It isn't some strange thing up in the sky. It's the leaves, this guy here. It's this chair, it's the voice, it's whatever is. So the beloved is constantly with you. You can't escape from what you long for. It's constantly with you because all there is what is. Isn't that stunning? People rush all over the world, they meditate, they do this chanting thing with apparent gurus, they try to do self-inquiry, and what they don't realise is that where they are and what they are is what they long for. It would be serious and sad if it was important.
Yeah.
It's only important to the seeker. It's not important to this. Nothing's important. There just is what there is.
Why would you want that? In a way, why would me want its absence?
Yeah.
It's not suggested even. Here's not a suggestion for you to be absent. In a way, you are not there already. The absence of me already is in a way.
It's just mind blowing, really.
Yeah, it
because
is.
It's just nothing.
But it blows the mind.
Yeah.
Mind will fight with it. The thinking, intellect will try and fight with it, but it can't fight with it because it has nothing to get hold of.
Which in a way is slightly different than say that you have to die. I mean, it's completely different.
Yeah.
Because in a way what's being said is there isn't even anyone to die. This is wholeness, or this is no thing, as it already is. That's the miracle. And in a way that is that me can't access.
There isn't anything that's ever the same. It's alive, and it's instantly alive in that isness.
Well, there is no real progression.
Yeah.
So the sense of I always sees everything as a progression, but there isn't one.
Yeah.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. Any idea there's something you can do about it, like acceptance or openness or surrender, it's bullshit.
Yeah.
That me doesn't want to surrender or give in. It wants to go on fighting and looking for something. It's at war with itself, so it's always battling on.
That's the cruel joke about it. So, in other words, and what's hiding is not hiding by being obtuse or complex or difficult. Like the person on the mountain meditating. It's just hiding, appearing to hide, but already being everything. It's appearing to hide by just being obviously and ordinarily everything that already is. But then the mind, when you feel like a person, that energy is that it's a rejection of what is in favour of what might be for me. So there's a rejection of what seems to be happening, and pushing away what seems to be happening for this movement towards something better all the time. And then it's just that what is life as it really is not then being seen. It's overlaid with this apparent me.
The other thing that's very powerful is that there's obviously no self-consciousness. There's nobody here trying to please anybody or displease anybody. There's nobody here that actually, in a sense, has any investment in what's going on at all. That comes across very powerfully, I think.
Yeah.
What's he about, this guy? Well, he isn't. There isn't anyone.
We are at the beginning. There's nothing to say. There isn't even an issue. There's no real question. There's no real answer. It doesn't lead anywhere. The whole talk, the whole conversation doesn't lead to somewhere else.
What we're discussing here is the possibility that whole construct, that whole sense of being an individual in a dualistic world, that whole sense of being able to do something about making that world better is a complete illusion.